Sul Ross State University.
Yes, sir.
That's up there on north in West Texas.
I would say it's like 14 hours in my little truck, probably 8 hours in a normal newer vehicle. So I guess we're ready to start. Are you guys ready? Okay, I see a lot of nodding. So, well, good morning, guys. I hope I don't bore you to death today.
That's my job.
That's what we do in our old classes. We bore our own students to death. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to show you, today I'm going to show you a printmaking technique where you can use objects that you usually put in the recycling bin or just throw in the trash, right? Like milk cartons or juice cartons. This is an etching technique where you use a needle tool or X-Acto knife to draw your image or to engrave your image on the surface. So you can play with textures and lines. Look, let me see. So you can create an image by using cross-hatching and playing with the surface of the carton by peeling certain areas and leaving other areas in. The areas that you peel off tend to be the darker ones. It absorbs more ink. So the more you peel out, the darker it gets. And here's a test I did with this, using this rooster, the window, and the girl. By looking at it, I'm going to pass it around so you guys can see it. By looking at it, what do you think this image is saying? My ear is a little off today.
Do you have tinnitus? I have tinnitus. Yeah.
So if you can scream at me, pretend I'm your old abuelita.
The chicken went out the window, maybe?
What's that?
The chicken went out the window, maybe?
The chicken went out the window, yeah. I don't know, have you guys seen the show out there?
See the show, everybody? We have a gallery here. All his work is out. Yeah.
So I like to play with social, in my work I like to talk about cultural issues, social, political. I use the animals to represent a human characteristic or a human trait. In this case, I'm literally using a human. I wanted to switch up a little bit, try this in a different way. So what I'm doing here, what I'm talking about, is this person is having an anxiety attack for overthinking. I don't know if you guys have those problems where you're in the middle of the night and you start overthinking a situation. So you start having like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I going to do today or tomorrow? So you start fabricating all these imaginary solutions for these imaginary problems that you're setting up. So the chickens represent the problem, and the window represents the solution to the problem. So that's why the window is just floating in the middle of the sky or the air, because it's a made-up solution for imaginary chickens that represent the problem, right? I like to tell stories. That's why printmaking is my favorite media. I'm able to tell my stories in a more graphic way. And it gives us permission to not be as realistic. And then you're able to do as many as you want. So, you want to look at it? And look at the...
El pobrecito gallo.
All right, so one day I was invited to go to a friend's workshop, and I read milk carton etching. What, like, how are you going to put milk carton into acid to burn? With intaglio, yeah, it's intaglio with milk carton. I'm curious. I want to see how she does that. So,
You guys remember how intaglio is in? The difference between relief and intaglio is relief. Very good. Right. The ink instead is it doesn't even go like that. It pours into the crevices. And then the ink is left inside the second time. And then the top is white clean. It's the exact opposite of line effect relief and
so I got a little panel. So now I want to decide what I want to put in this. What should, let's see.
you have a sketchbook right there, right?
What's that?
You have a sketchbook.
I have my sketchbook.
That's good.
I always carry my sketchbook. At least one or two of my sketchbooks. If ever I have an emergency idea.
I like the dog. It's a dog drawing. Isn't there a dog drawing? Right. Where can I see it? Yeah,
Oh,
I like that.
the cat.
Oh, it's a cat. I thought it was a, sorry, I thought it was a dog. Joke's on me. Go ahead.
So sometimes I like, as I'm cruising around or going from place to place or staying at home, I always have my sketchbook or a notepad. And the moment I get the idea, I write it down. It comes up. Because if I don't write it and I rely on my memory, chances are it's just gonna disappear. And sometimes I've lost many, many great ideas because I was too lazy to write it down. So I try to, as soon as I imagine something, okay, I'm gonna put it down. And then it becomes something more than just a sketch. So, I don't know if this lady's face fits. So here I'm capturing it's based on a Vicente Fernandez song. Anyone heard of Vicente Fernandez? It's based on that song where he's in a cantina. Well, like 90% of his songs are based in a cantina, right, in a bar. But there's this lady that comes in, and he starts flirting with her. And then she's like, soy la muerte. I'm going to take you today. And then he's like, yeah, take me. I'm done with this world. Like everyone, all the women I've been going out with betray me. So take me, I'm done with the world. And then she says, you know what? You're gonna stay. And you're gonna deal with life because in essence for you, death is the easy way out. So you gotta stay here and deal with that. So that's why I kind of tried to capture that smirk on her face. Like, yeah, all right. She's like, she's like, you're simping. All right, so
And have you made that one into a?
let's see. So one way to transfer is just kind of,
Always transferring it.
you guys want to come over? I don't know if you can.
Can you see? He's, a student was asking if that particular drawing, have you made a print from it yet?
I have not made a print out of
Okay,
this.
that's your
This is brand new. You have to scream at me. I'm sorry I couldn't.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Pretend I'm your old abuelita. Okay? Okay, so you can come around,
Brian, don't be shy.
even on this side if need be. Okay, so my calculus teacher used to say there's many ways to skin a cat. I wouldn't want you to skin cats. It's just a phrase he used to say. So to transfer the image, there's different ways to do it. Onto this, you can just trace over. And the problem would be to see the grooves. But that's a way, if you trust your eyesight, you can do that. Can you see?
Yeah.
The other way, the same, if you trust your eyesight, just trace over with the pencil where the lines are. Because this way, when you print it, it's going to come out the same way you drew it. Because there's always that reverse. I have an example of a recent print I did that I messed up the registration. Have you guys had problems with registration?
I had a student once that was, remember I think I told you the story? She was doing an image of the state of Texas, but on the linoleum block, she did the state of Texas the right way. And we didn't pick it up until it was too late. We realized it when we inked it up and printed that the state of Texas was backwards.
No.
That's how it printed, because we did it the right way on the block and the wrong way on the print.
So you see how I...
Yeah.
Okay, there's another way. And I use it sometimes on my wood blocks too. Let me cut the... Is there a trash can? Oh, right here. Oh, there's some leftover. So leftover liquid. Give me a second. I'll leave it there for now. Just wipe this real quick. This is gonna hurt my heart, but must be done. Okay. So I'm gonna go for it. It might be a total fail. It might be a total success. But whatever we do, we are gonna do it epically, right? You're going to epically fail or epically succeed. There's no in-betweens. Okay. Let's see. We might need to adjust pressures. We don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Don't lose your phone.
That's the nature of printmaking. I love like
I'll see what happens.
that
try it?
anxiety before the block passes through the press.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure I need more pressure. I don't feel a thing.
You didn't feel a thing?
No.
So we might need to tighten it a little bit.
Righty-tighty. Let's give it one revolution to 0. All the way around. That feels pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
1, 0.
There you
So
go.
we are at 30 and 0. Okay, let's see if this works. This feels tighter. I don't know if it's tight enough. But we'll see. We can peek.
Let's see.
Peek.
Nope, it didn't work.
It didn't work?
And I think it didn't work because there's a wax.
Actually,
That's
let's try something else. You see this? See it? It's all, also remember, it's all about problem solving. Let's try this. Let's try this. And we'll give it some more pressure. We can make it work. Okay? Put it on top like that.
let's see if this works.
And then I'm going to give it some more pressure.
More pressure.
Let's put it to right to 6.
To 6.
To 6. One more. There you go. Right there.
There you
Okay.
go.
We'll make it work. We hope. Okay? Oh. This should do it. This is going to do it. Yeah. Whoa. Here. If that doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
Well, I have to go old school and draw it all. Oh,
Did it work?
there you go.
You can see it. Yay.
It's a ghost of the image.
Awesome. Look at that.
And so doing that doesn't mess with the sketch at all? Or
It doesn't affect the sketch at all. It just transfers. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's got some adhesive.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry. We were using
like-
it to print T-shirts with.
Oh,
We print T-shirts with
Cool.
linoleum.
so, but you can see the dent that the carton did on the
I like
paper.
her attitude. She's like, bien hay frutis, you know?
It's like when someone sits like that and looks at you like that, you know that that the date went wrong. Somewhere between the hi and that situation, something you said, just like, she's like, tell me more.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we got it. So now what we do, I'm going to go over the lines. Right. Do I have a pencil?
You need a pencil? Here you go. You know what it is? Mechanical?
Oh,
Is that
well,
better?
the problem between using a pencil and a mechanical pencil is that mechanical pencils don't have the strength that wooden pencils have. So when you're trying to mark those lines, there's a chance that you'll break the plastic
Yeah,
of the mechanical pencil.
I see.
So I don't want to break your mechanical.
Yeah.
What's it, the yellow one?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go over just it says my pencil is not sharpened, and I'm gonna keep it like that. I'm gonna have both lines, and I'm just going to go over this really quick, as quick as I can. You guys have any questions so far? Complaints?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna use the X-Acto knife. To cut some areas of the hair. Okay. So I have that, so I'm going to start peeling it off. And I went really deep, too deep, that I cut through. And that's not something we want. We don't want to go through. But this is gonna be really dark once it's finished.
So are you applying, are you creating texture?
I'm creating texture by removing some of the surface
Okay.
area. You guys see it? Do we have a wire, a piece of wire?
Didn't I bring a piece of, an etching needle? Would that work?
We can use an etching needle, but
Did I give it to you? Let me go,
No.
let me go see.
I was thinking of wires because we might have some at home, right? If you're not at school. And this,
What are the wires for?
let me start getting the ink ready. This is my favorite part of printmaking. There's something satisfying about it. This is, I'm activating the ink. What do you think I mean by activating the ink?
Mixing it?
Huh?
Mixing it?
Mixing it?
Actually, he's homogenizing.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Activating it, sometimes when it comes out of a can, the ink might be stiff. The pigment might be a little off. So when you do this, it helps mix it again and also make it as you're doing this with the palette, you're warming it up if it's stiff and cold. Okay. Let me go over this again. I'm going to rely on my memory because some parts are a little too ghosty. I'm going to add some cross-hatching lines or hatching lines. I'm not going to go so much into detail because I want to go ahead and show you the difference a line or two makes. Okay, I'm just gonna do that now. I wanna see how this is looking, and make it proof
Proof, right?
to see if I like where this is heading to, or if I need to make some adjustments. So I'm gonna go over with my palette knife and spread ink over the surfaces I worked on already. So now, where's the tarlatan? Have you guys used this before?
We have some right there. We have plenty of it.
Ah.
We have a bolt of it.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
can I use it?
Go ahead, dale gas.
Vamos pues.
Hazte garras. Get it? Vamos.
So I'm looking to make it, I'm not just wrapping it into a ball. I'm kind of looking at where the cleanest area is. And then I'm rolling the rest behind it. So now, I'm going to go this way, kind of like doing circles. And the fun part about this is that you can clean it as much as you want till you're satisfied. Like, okay, I think I like this area darker or this area lighter. So you're playing with the values. I might have taken too much ink. We'll see.
Do you want to use this?
You want to put like a newsprint so just in case it doesn't.
Like a piece of paper? There you go. Underneath? I see.
Así mero.
Okay. And then,
And
do you need paper?
we might need a little paper,
Yeah.
but maybe just a scratch paper so we can. This work?
That's 80-pound drawing paper.
Let's use this just to do a little proof.
Let's see that we have enough pressure. Let's see if the pressure's good enough.
I don't think we need that much pressure for this one
Okay.
because we're not dealing with pencil marks.
Okay. Okay.
Because you need more pressure when you're trying to transfer an image with pencil. Graphite, that's the proper term.
Remember to lubricate my press. It needs lubrication. Oil. No, I can do it over the Ready?
Let's see.
Da-da-da.
Oh no, I did remove too much of the ink.
You didn't do what?
But, yeah, I removed a lot of the ink. But it kind of gives you an idea of where this print is going.
Yeah, you can see like the parts you etched out.
So you see that initial pencil mark I was doing? It's not working. Because it's not absorbing the ink. I just pushed with the pencil. So what I want to do is with the needle tool, creating a break that wax because the wax repels the ink. So I want to instead use this, remark it, and try it again. But I want you guys to see. See the difference between the needle tool and the pencil?
Yeah.
But you start to see the black in the hair.
That can work. Now, have you ever considered on the paper taking a atomizer, like a water mister, and then putting a little bit of moisture on the printing paper?
Yes,
That might work, right?
that works.
Yeah.
That helps the paper absorb more ink.
Yeah. So we do have an atomizer if you want to try that. If you want to print that again.
You can try it. Thank you. So when I did this one, you can see why this is, because I peeled it. But I didn't go all the way through. I just touched the surface with the X-Acto knife. And that's enough to peel the surface. Any questions so far? We're good?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. So now I find myself in another trouble, another problem. When I inked it up, I did something that a rookie would do. What do you think that's it?
You're not going to be able to see the pencil anymore because of the ink.
I lost my pencil. I lost the sketch. What should I have done?
The ash,
Huh?
the ash or the charcoal dust stuff, the stuff you showed us last week, the like powder you poof on before
He
you
says
print
to
it.
tone it with charcoal. I don't think that would do it.
No. What I should have done is retrace it with Sharpie. Sharpie resists, for some reason, everything except alcohol.
Yes, alcohol does.
Yeah, you can, that's the only thing that erases Sharpie. I find that fascinating.
See, what as printmakers, I think, Ramon, you would agree with this. We're constant problem solvers, isn't it? So if something is tried and it doesn't succeed, then we try to figure out why isn't it? And then we remedy it by trying some other process, trying to figure it out. That's what we are always doing as printmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
Yes, like if the press doesn't work, like, okay, I'm gonna leave it alone for now. I can't deal with you, but I'm still going to print. So I get a spoon. Have you guys used that technique?
Which one?
Printing with the spoon?
Oh, yeah.
Like hand printing? No?
I haven't shown, well,
Ah.
it is early in the semester, and when I
Right.
haven't demonstrated many different techniques, but I have taught printmaking online. You can imagine that.
Oh my gosh.
Online, when we had to go through the pandemic. And so what I had the students do online is they had to print with the linoleum with thinner paper and using the transference with a wooden spoon on
Yes.
the back. But since we have the luxury of this beautiful appliance, right? This is quite a luxury. So we need to make sure that we appreciate it. It's a really nice appliance.
Yes. And there are professors. My professor had us print 40 prints, handmade, using the spoon. He had his the printer, the press, covered over. He had it hidden, and he had us doing prints the first 5 weeks
Yes.
by hand. 40 prints per edition.
I only happen to like at least 6.
I know, this guy was insane. We hated him.
Oh, no.
It's a love-hate kind of situation.
Got it.
So this is a print they did at home when I was in Presidio and had no access to a press, but I still wanted to print. And I forced myself to do prints of my favorite musicians. If you listen to Mexican music, you might know this guy. Have you guys heard of Los Tigres del Norte? That's the bass player. He's the guy that sings La Puerta Negra. In this case, this is based on a song called El Celular. And notice, it's one of those ancient cell phones from the 90s.
Call them a brick phone.
The brick phones. You have to
That's nice.
get it and then extend the antenna.
What was the matrix made out of? Did you use, wood? Is that MDF?
MDF. I love woodcut. It's my favorite media. And, well, maybe we can talk about this. This is one of the prints that's in the show. Have you guys taken a look at this print? So I am doing a different approach. If you see the print, and I wish I would have brought my portfolio. I left it in my truck. I'm playing with textures. And if we go there later, I can show you what I mean. But I'm getting MDF boards and applying gesso with brush very, very stiffly.
But that's around.
Yes, if you can pass it around so you can see the.
Why do you put gesso on the block before you start targeting it?
Because when you start inking it up, it creates the effect of a brush stroke.
So it's very similar to holograph prints.
Yes,
You like holographs also?
yes.
Collage printing, which means you're making a matrix that is collaged with a lot of times different types of textured materials.
That's the first assignment I have my students do, a holograph. It's essentially, I like to call it a collage of textures, because you collect different textures and then you apply ink. You don't know what you're going to get in the press,
Yeah.
because textures react differently. And that's fun. It's fun to see the students' reactions. Like, this is not what I was expecting. This is the nature of printmaking. But I have a version of this with 4 different animals reacting to a prickly pear cactus. So each one of them has a different reaction. The cactus represents a problem. So the goat, this moment, he's like, meh. He's not impressed with the problem, so he just deals with it. So what I wanted to do,
How I can help you? How can I help you? Did you want to print that?
is there a possibility we can do that?
Absolutely. We can, it's okay. We can, when we print with harder matrices like that, we can use as a, instead of using blankets, we use Davy board, which is really super compressed cardboard.
What I was thinking of, I wanted to hand print it.
Oh, sure. So do you think 80-pound drawing paper would be thin enough?
I think so.
I have plenty of that. We got plenty of right here.
So I also wanted to show real quick how to transfer an image if you're using 2 blocks.
Is that
Perfect.
good? Is it the right size? You want me to cut it down a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, I can trim it down.
So what I was saying, sometimes we use 2 different blocks. One for the outline and another one for color. A lot of my prints in the show have been done like that. 2 different blocks, even 3 different blocks. The key to having a successful print is to have registration. You know, registration means that you set up a block or a wood block in this with measurements, certain measurements, so that each time you print, it's in the same place. So, if you look at, this is called a jig. And if you look at the tape, the pieces of tape I have,
Oh, what is it called, sir?
a jig,
A jig?
A jig.
because
It's also named for a dance. A jig is a dance.
so if you look at the tape, it's put in a certain distance from the inner edge. And it measures 2 inches. So it gives you a border of 2 inches. And each time you put your paper there, it should be at the same spot. That way, the block prints in the same place.
Exactly 12 inches. Exactly 12 inches.
Nice.
Is that good enough?
I think so.
It fits. If your block is 12 inches, the paper's exactly 12 inches. Or do you
Perfect.
do you want it wider?
No, that's good.
Okay. Well, then I have 2 sheets of paper right there.
Okay, awesome. All right. Do we have can I use a brayer too?
Absolutely. Here, just stay right there. I'll get it for you.
Okay.
Remember, I'm a facilitator. I make things happen.
You guys have any other questions? Complaints? Opinions? Requests?
How long does it take you to carve out each one of the blocks usually?
The one I made for this one, that's in the gallery, it took me 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Ooh, nice.
We don't fool around here.
Beautiful. It's a printmaking thing. It also depends on the weather. It's amazing. So here, McAllen is so humid. It affects the paper.
If it's real dry, it goes like this. It makes it go. Yeah, I noticed that.
When it rains,
Yes.
the papers do this, but not only that, they expand. And when it's dry, it shrinks. So that affects the amount that, if you're going to do different layers, it affects the size of the print and where the colors go.
So you want me to get rid of the blankets? I can reconfigure the press. Yes?
Sure.
Reconfigure? Okay. Then we can use one of these. Now we use this. Ramon, we use this for the cover. Okay?
Okay, let me do this. should. I tend to do the slabs, the inking slabs, as wide as the brayer roller, and then just. I love that sound. Have you guys printed yet?
I had, my first class, somebody just did. No one in this class.
Nobody has printed yet?
Not yet, because last time I had to give this really long, very informative lecture on the history of printmaking.
Oh, so this is the first time you guys see a print made. Sweet. Okay.
I printed some for the students in the first day, but that's just to demonstrate how printing is done. But they haven't really actually started learning the class yet.
Okay. So, how do you know when the ink is ready?
Oh, it has like that.
Some people like to call it the orange skin texture. Like when you see the orange surface, it should simulate it. But also the sound. It should be like the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh kind of sound.
Yeah.
I love that sound. So I might need more ink, but since my surface is already basically dried ink, I don't think I need that much ink for this. So I'm just going to start inking it up. And I want the surface on my wood block to look the same as the surface on the ink slab. Ink.
The rule is the guy that inks in class has to clean up afterwards. That's the rule. Sorry, Ramon.
I'll clean it up.
It's an enforced rule. Yes, sir.
You know, there's another printmaking rule
Yes.
that if we use a different print shop, we leave a print.
Ah, that's nice. They do too. Whenever a student completes a print, and hopefully several of them that are suitable for addition, then we have a wall space in the hallway. It's called the wall of fame. And then everyone gets their prints displayed so everyone else can see. But you have to create good prints. No, in the hallway. Oh, yeah. There's a few there. Yeah. The wall of fame.
So when you're finished inking, you set it up upside down.
I know.
I like to keep it small, my inking slab small, so that I have control over the amount of ink.
Exactly.
Because if you start spreading, all of a sudden there's an ink apocalypse all over the place. You don't want that. So, take a look at how glossy it looks. Shiny. Like you want to touch it. Don't touch it.
I mean,
I mean,
okay.
now, since I was playing with the tarlatan, you see this? What's going to happen to my paper?
It's going to get smudged.
See that?
Yes.
So that's what I mean by ink apocalypse. Then I'm scratching my face now. I'm going to have ink on my face. And It goes on and on.
And people are so courteous, they're not gonna let you know.
Monday?
People are so courteous that they're not gonna let you know that you have ink on your face.
Are you guys going to let me know if I have ink on my face?
Barely noticeable. Blends in, you go with class.
Chihuahua. Okay, let's try this. Oh my God.
I know. Bad craftsmanship.
Awful craftsmanship.
Let me see it. Let me see this.
This is what you shouldn't do.
Let's see if this is enough pressure. I don't know. Oh, I think it's just the right amount. This is incredible.
Beautiful.
That's the right amount of pressure. It's like you shoot an arrow into the sky and it falls right where you want it.
This is not.
Wow.
This is not typical.
No. Did it print on the back?
No, but there's the.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what are you gonna do? Yes. Ta-da!
We got a goat. Thank you. Now I want to transfer it to this block. So now I'm going to look at how the lines are set up, the textures I created. I'm gonna put it this way. Actually,
Ramon, why are you going to transfer it to another block?
sometimes I do 2 blocks. I kind of set it ahorita because I want to use the black for a layer and the other block for color.
That means you're gonna each successive print is gonna be printed at least twice.
Yes.
Okay. Layered with color. Okay. Ooh, that's a good tactic.
So I'm setting up the wood block on the print because I want to transfer that image.
Backwards, back to backwards. Okay. There you go.
So the trick here is to make sure that the block is the same exact size as the other block, because you want those exact measurements to apply back and forth. If you mess up by 1 millimeter,
Well, you can either accept it or say, well, how can I fix it? I can fix it. Or just let it be. Yeah, that's okay. Drum roll. Drum roll. Oh my God, there's more people. Just a quick loop. But, yeah, you can bring them in, just. How big an art is it?
what's up?
No, they're bringing in an art appreciation class. There's usually-
Ah,
Well, we're just making we didn't buy our tickets. We're in the cheap seats. But Mr. Deanda is making magic or reality happen in front of us. And we'll walk through and see, here's an art appreciation. Can I ask an art appreciation question in behalf of my student? And it's not going to be how much you can sell it for, how long did it take you to make that one, but the body of work that you brought to share with us.
uh-huh.
You've been working on that body of work for the last 3 years, 5 years, your whole life?
Whoa. Well, it all happened 2016.
116.
That's when my inspiration was ignited.
Okay.
You-
Inspiration and motivation, I think, are highly related. So art appreciation, I know we're kind of plugged up. Ramon, right? Let's follow me and follow Ramon. And is it Daniel? Michael. We'll circle around. You can wave. These are art makers in a printmaking class
Oh.
right here. You can maybe sign
Bueno.
up for a printmaking class in the future if you get inspired without the time and the money that requires here. And then we'll spin into the gallery.
He's creating an insurrection.
That was quick,
I think they've seen enough.
I guess.
Always glad to have visitors drop by. Yeah.
Just like
That was, that was
Unexpectedly, right?
that was quite an interesting
Yeah.
interaction.
Yes, yes.
I was about to say that how long each print would take to do.
Yes.
I think that's what he asked. as well.
Yes. Actually, he was asking, the body of work that that you're exhibiting, how long did that that work? How much time did all that take you?
Ah, okay. Oh yeah.
2016?
2016, that's when the idea came
Yeah.
to be, and then 2018 is when I started to.
2018, that's,
And so, what was the idea, if you don't mind us asking?
what inspired you?
Well, the name of the exhibition is South of Paradise,
Okay.
North of Hell. What do you think I'm talking about?
South of paradise, north of hell. What do you think that means?
Either here or Vegas?
Huh?
Here or Vegas?
No. The USA is considered paradise. Mexico is considered a hellhole. So
Making a political statement.
it's the border.
Yeah.
We're just north of hell and south of paradise. We're not completely in paradise yet at the border, but we're not completely in hell. What's that?
Mission?
Mission.
Mission, Texas? The city? Okay. Yeah, Mission is north of the river, north of the border. Yeah, so we're kind of like in paradise, right? Mission, Texas is, including McAllen, because we're in McAllen, Texas right now.
Oh, Mission, Texas. Okay. I was like, what kind of mission?
Like a mission, no.
A mission, no.
No,
Mission,
I was
Texas.
born, I'm a missionite.
Ándale.
That's what they call people from Mission. Missionites.
Is there any missionites here? Okay.
All right.
So how do you call people from far?
I don't know.
Farites?
Farites,
Parts.
foreigners.
Farinians? Farians?
What about people from Edinburgh?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgos?
Edinburghers.
Ed Burgers.
Ooh, I hope there's no people from Edinburgh that I'm insulting.
Any Edinburgers? Edinburghs.
We're having a good discussion.
It's quite fascinating.
Educational, even.
Yes. Who brought it up? Oh,
Would you take
yeah, that guy, yeah, Mr. Chris Leonard, ceramicist.
far? You know, I always found the name Falfurias kind of interesting. Like, where did this come from? Is this a Spanish word, or is...
It's probably someone related to who settled the area, the name of a person, I think. That's what it is.
Is that...
Because this part of Texas, and this region is very interesting. It's got its own history, actually. Yeah. So I'm sorry, we're not the only people who have ever lived here. Those of you that are natives to this area.
Falfurrias. Okay,
Okay,
so
I'm back on task.
I'm sorry. It's just I like to learn a little bit of.
Is that too tight?
I tighten it too much.
Okay. Remember, what's the rule? You guys don't touch, I touch. I touch the settings. But it's okay, you can always... What kind of press are you familiar with working with, Ramon? What brand of press?
I think we have a. We also have one of these. Not this exact.
Is it a floor model? A big one?
It's similar to this model.
Yeah, okay.
So, but I think it's. I don't think it's a Takach.
Is it a Conrad?
I think it's a Conrad.
You see, every different, the different press is made by a specific company. Only that company makes that press. So Takach is the only place to get a Takach press if you want one.
Bingo. So you kind of well when you're when you practiced enough, you kind of know like, oh no, this is tight. Too tight, too loose.
The key is you have to practice, which means you have to print. All right.
Well, then I lost the ink, but I have this one. So now what I do to lock it in, I put some talc
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
it seals it in.
I didn't know that.
You put what?
Talc.
Talc
We don't have talc. Oh, wait a
Or-
minute.
or baby powder.
We have calcium carbonate.
Calcium carbonate also works. I'm not going to do it
Okay.
because I wanna use it for a
That's
different.
not what they use for lithography.
Huh?
For lithography.
Yes.
Talc,
It-
yeah.
so I apply that to this.
Oh,
and boom, seals it.
I have no idea. Wow, I just learned something. It's cool.
It's why I like printmaking because you're constantly learning something new. You never finish learning printmaking.
Right?
All right. Any questions as of now? We good? So I want to maybe try finishing this.
Okay, you want to try it? It's already back. You want to try printing it?
I am going to start. There you go. So let me do this real quick. I don't want to.
I'm going to try re-inking Italia. Italia. Because if it doesn't work, we have to figure out why. And we're going to see if we can remedy it. Sometimes it's trial and error. Then error and success.
But in order to learn, you have to make mistakes.
Right? Isn't that true? Making mistakes is more of a learning experience than succeeding.
And in printmaking, you need to be ready to make mistakes. They will happen. You gotta be flexible with those mistakes too.
You want the blankets back? The blankets. Ramon, the blankets. You want them
The
back?
blankets.
You want them back? I'll take care of it. You just go ahead.
Okay.
I'm here to facilitate.
So before this class, who had heard of printmaking?
Yeah, and how big have your classes been? How many students have you had?
Well, we're a really small
Yeah.
school. The most students I've had in the class is 6 or 7.
What a luxury. I've got 16
I,
students in this class.
But you love that.
you know, I, sometimes I would like to have at least 10,
Yes.
10 students.
And for whatever reason, they don't want to drop the class if they like it so much.
Well, when I started 3 years ago, my first semester, this is my third year at Sol Ross. My first semester, I had one student in painting and 2 students in printmaking. I was so sad. But, you know, it's because they didn't think, I think what happens is that they didn't think they would be able to hire someone in January. So not a lot of people knew that there was a new faculty coming in till the following fall. That's when I started having more students. So,
What's the name of the town in Sol Ross State?
Alpine, Texas.
Alpine, okay. Is it anywhere near Marfa? Is it Marfa?
Marfa is about 26 miles away from Alpine.
Right.
And Presidio, my hometown, I think it's the smallest water town in Texas, and it's about 90 miles south of Alpine. And, well, here's a random question. Does the Rio Grande have water here? Does the Rio Grande does it have water?
Sure. Yeah, no water.
Why am I asking? The Rio Grande in Presidio doesn't have much water.
It's
Okay.
real shallow.
It's so shallow that you can tip-toe across and not get your heels wet. I have some pictures in the slideshow I'm going to have.
Are you going to show us slides during your at 1 o'clock? He's got his opening reception for his exhibit here in the gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
How are we doing in time? I don't want to take too much.
You're okay. It's only 11:15, about 11. It's only been about an hour and 15 minutes.
How long is the class?
Not long enough. Actually, no, we get, officially it's 12:50. Yeah, well, it's like the length of 2 regular lecture classes.
Okay.
Studio lasts twice as long. I'll try the exacto knife again. This time I'm going to go a little less strong. So, as I was growing up in that little area of Ojinaga, Chihuahua, and Brazil, Texas, my family has a ranch that's been in the family since 1797. So it's been quite a few generations in the family. And we know this because when my grandmother passed away, there were some letters that she had saved in a little chest. And, you know, as grandkids, we're very nosy and curious. And we found these letters with awesome calligraphy and interesting watermarks. So we opened it. And like, what is that saying?
It was written in a very old Castilian language, which is an area in Hispaniola. It was still not Spain. It's amazing. And there was a letter where what I think is one of our ancestors was writing to the viceroy, to the governor. And he was talking about the region and how he wanted the Spanish government to let him take over that land. But he needed help because the locals were starting to rebel against him. And that's when we realized, wait a minute, we have Spanish conquistadores in our family line. And I look at my cousin like, yeah, we don't look Spanish. But we do have cousins that have, the green eyes, güeritos. And that's when we found out another interesting fact in our family. One of our great grandmothers was not very loyal to her husband.
Oh, my, scandalo.
¿Qué pasa con los católicos? So we find out that somewhere in the timeline of our family, there was an African American slave that escaped from Kansas City all the way to Ojinaga by train, the railroad, and married someone with the last name of Sanchez. So half of my family is very dark brown, and the other half is very white complexed. And you see some of my cousins with pelo chino, chinitos, curly hair, and then the other ones with light brown hair. And when we found out what was in our ancestry, like, okay, that makes sense. That's why these cousins, including us, look different from the other cousins. And we didn't need to pay Ancestry.com anything. Pretty fun. Almost done here, guys. What's that?
We're very patient people.
I can see that. Thank you for your patience, guys.
When did you discover this method of making prints from discarded materials?
I was part of a printmaking group in Albuquerque. That's where that press is from, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And like when I went to the print shop, she had a whole bunch of cardboards on the. What are we gonna do? I thought we were going to do etching. And she's like, we are. And yeah, it was interesting. It was really unexpected.
Yeah. Well, same here, because I didn't think you could do such work from such really menial materials, because this is stuff that normally gets thrown away, or better, recycled.
Yes.
So this is a form of recycling. Absolutely.
And I love it because this is something that we usually have at home.
Do you have a press at your home?
I have a story about that. My graduate professor, he teaches in Fresno State. And he reached out to me, sent me a text with the photograph. And tells me, do you know someone who's interested in the press? Wink, wink. How much would this person be having to pay for the press? Wink, wink. He gives me like a ridiculous cheap number.
Took it, so he didn't give it to you as a gift? He didn't gift it?
No, because the school was getting rid of it,
Oh, okay. Right.
and he didn't have he couldn't just give it away because the school was going to replace it. So he had to justify it. So he told me, if you come to Fresno, I'll give you this prize. That's when gas was $8 a gallon
$8 a gallon?
in California.
Oh my goodness.
Arizona and California, the most expensive gas was almost $9
Goodness.
a gallon. I was like, whoa. I think gas was the most expensive, was more expensive than the whole press. I think it's ready. So when I got there, he tells me, by the way, there's a little press that we have here. Would you like to take it too? How much do you want for it? No, just take it.
You gotta haul it, right? But you have to take it, you have to haul it.
Haul it.
Imagine.
The problem is hauling it.
Yes.
So
These things are heavy.
who has been to California? Traffic there is horrible. Like, you're lucky if you go over 20 miles an hour on I-10. Never again. But let's see how this one works this time. Do it up here. Let's try it again. So this time, I'm not going to. I want to push the ink into the crevices as much as I can. And I'm going to clean the areas I want to keep white. Now I see that I didn't mark the whole hat. That's what I get for getting distracted. Okay, so I'm gonna try it this way now. I left some ink on. We'll see what happens.
See what, ¿qué pasa? You have to reconfigure the press. I
There.
have some damping paper.
So I went the other way, and I'm going to leave more ink. We'll see what happens. I might need to lift more ink for the second tryout. We'll see.
All right. Want me to do the honors?
This is kind of like the Goldilocks effect, where the soup is cold, the soup is too hot. So let's see how the soup is for this one.
Okay, I know there's not enough pressure. We need to readjust it. It's okay.
We need to add pressure.
Okay. Oh, it's way up. That's why. Let's go down to about 40.
440. 0, right?
40. That's not bad.
There you go.
I don't know. That may.
That's where we were.
Okay, it's not enough. Not enough. Let's do one more revolution
230?
to 0.
To
All the way
0.
to 0. Really tight. So yes, 30. Right.
All right.
Let me see. Okay, that feels good. That feels better.
Okay.
There's some resistance.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I think the soup is going to be too cold this time.
Ah, look, you got a nice embossment.
Oh, the boss mint. I love it.
Oh. Yes.
Oh,
We solved the problem, didn't we?
so now that I see it now, the way I did it, I think I'm going to play with the way I wipe the ink off to create movement. Let me pass it around so that you can see what I mean.
You can show it to everybody.
Huh?
You didn't show it to everybody.
Let me. So you see the difference between the first one. This is the second one. This is the first one. I can show it to the camera here. This is the first one. This is the second try. So I started playing with lines in the background just to test the waters. What you got going?
Whole comic series.
Constantly drawing. Very impressive.
Pretty cool.
Drawing is a quintessential draftsman. Yes.
He would make a great etcher.
Yes. Yes.
You guys have any questions as of now? Complaints? Okay, so I don't know. Does anyone want to try doing something? You want to try?
Brendan, all right.
Awesome. Let's cut a piece. Yeah.
What do you want him to try?
Well, what is it you want me to try?
You want to try doing a drawing for the etching, or you want to print a wood block?
I guess the thing is, I know if I try a drawing, it probably won't be the best drawing y'all see.
Well, it's just experimentation,
Okay.
learning something different. Here, sir. Do you have a little sketch that you would like to do? Let me wipe this. And let me wash my hands.
So I just do it over here, or do that, or?
If you want to sit here. Would it be okay if I go get my portfolio?
Oh, go ahead.
Let me just wash my hands. I don't want to.
You're on stage. What are you doing? You're giving this to me?
Microphone, yeah.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, we just point out that.
So I'm going to go get my portfolio. I should be back.
The part where you will pause or edit because he's gonna just.
Okay.
Yeah, pause. We're pausing. Go ahead. Dale gas. Go ahead.
Okay, vámonos.
Yeah, I don't want that.
It's because so then we can hear both responses between you and.
Okay.
Because I know like you also talked to him and you grabbed the student.
Set. Ah. I'll set it here.
Let me see. I see that.
Oh, like just digging it in.
Just like
So I started this experimentation process in grad school, 2017 in Alabama. I went to do my master's at the University of South Alabama. And it was the first time I was the farthest away from home. And that's when I realized how Mexican I really am. Because when it came to cooking my own meals,
Yeah.
there was not jalapenos or limes, or it was hard to access limes or jalapenos or any kind of chile or tortillas for that matter. Just those corn tortillas from the store that have this medicine-like taste. Or when I would go to Mexican restaurants, they would have that hard taco shell with cheddar cheese and lettuce with tomatoes and cold meat.
Cool.
No, this is an offense.
So you don't like Taco Bell?
One of my friends was so excited to take me to a new Mexican place for my birthday. Let's eat some Mexican food. So my expectations were like up here.
Nah. No. ¿Verdad que no?
I was so devastated. I just described the taco I had.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I grab it, it breaks.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, so one of my duties as a grad student was to work a laser cutter, laser engraver. I had no clue how to operate it. Like the first day, the graphic design professor came to me and told me, oh, by the way, you're going to operate this, but you need to use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. I have never used any of those programs. So the undergrad graphic design kids were the ones that taught me how to use Illustrator and even InDesign and all these, so I could use the laser engraver. As I was testing the laser engraver, one day I left a piece of wood and cardboard, just like this one. And I said, you know what? It's gonna take 3 hours to engrave. I'm gonna go to Subway. When I came back, the building was surrounded by firefighters. Well, the laser engraver was generating so much smoke.
Oh.
The ventilator was absorbing it, but it was the way they had the ventilation system was so weird because it would go straight out, but instead of going up, it would go down.
Yeah.
So that day, the smoke was surrounding the building. Like it looked like it was fog. It was getting foggy. So someone from the next building called the firefighters because the art department was burning up. I had some frowny faces the following day. But I told them, you know, I'm learning. So part of that, I experimented using I learned how to draw on Wacom or on, well, we had screens that are touch screens that you can use Wacom pens on. And this is where I started using two blocks, one for the illustration, the black outline, and the other one for the colors. It took a lot of messing up to be able to learn how to do the registrations right. So each color is a different layer. You guys use Photoshop, right? Or
The graphic arts majors probably do.
so you know what I'm talking about, right? So it's like you're layering color upon color. In this case, it's done by carving on wood. So the first layer is white. So everything I want to keep white, I carve out. The next layer, let's say it's blue, everything. So you keep carving till you finish every single layer. This one has 10 layers, believe it or not. So, if you look at the textures, this is where I got the idea of the textures. It's the wood that I used. So let me show you. This is the outline, the black layer. You can pass it around. It's dry. It's not wet.
What's that made out of? Is that wood? Or
That is birch.
Oh, birch. It's
Birch.
plywood.
Plywood.
Okay. Birch plywood, huh?
So you can tell the difference of line quality. This was one of my first prints during grad school. So you can see how rough the lines are versus the lines there in this print. So there's if you want to pass it around, there's a shift in my style. One previous to using the laser engraver and one post laser engraver. So let me show you what I used to do before I went to grad school. I used to do all these thick lines, thick bold lines. These are also hand printed using the wooden spoon. This is post laser engraver. It's a woodcut slash screen print. Now this is called Speedster. Speedster. The turtle's going way too fast for the snail. You can see him. Again, playing with the perception of reality. Sometimes you feel like life is going really slow. Like you wish things would speed up. But you have someone in your life that thinks that life is going way too fast. Like, slow down. No need to be rushed, kind of deal. This one. I want to show you one where you can see the texture of the gesso. Here's one.
Oh, that's one of the ones in the gallery right now, right?
Mm-hmm. This is one of the ones that we have here.
When I first saw your prints, I thought they were done by computer. I thought they were computer-generated images.
This is my last print. This is the newest print I've done. But if you take a minute to look at this one, you can see the textures of the gesso. There are some that look like brush strokes, like this one. And that's dry gesso. These are proofs, that's why there's smudges there. But and I have one more that I'd like to show.
Ramon, Brendan has a question. He wants to know, how did you achieve this gradient?
Well, that technique is called rainbow roll.
Yes. Rainbow roll.
Rainbow roll. So it consists of getting more than two colors next to each other and using the brayer to have each color mix into each other and blend.
Atmospheric effect. Really nice.
Thank you. So I'm currently working on this print. And this is what I wanted to show you. The print I messed up. I put the block upside down. It should look like this. I still have 2 more layers to go. So I wanted to bring this to show you where my process is as of now, and I have the block up here.
Okay.
And I also have the sketch. So this print is called Pásame la sal. And the goat is on the table. He wants the salt. Pass me the salt. So he's being very unpolite.
Pero no está la sal. No está. No está. No está del otro lado. O sea, si...
Tú le vas a pasar la sal a él.
Exacto, porque no está en la mesa.
Exacto. So this is a screw up.
Exactly what it should. Otherwise, you're going to get them offset. Wow. So it takes a lot of planning, problem solving, to figure out what you want to achieve. Isn't that true, Ramon?
Yes.
I can tell from those sketches. You're-
So, what I did there, I didn't like the initial sketch, so I cut them.
Yeah,
I cut them up and then started moving them across.
it's like a puzzle.
A puzzle.
Puzzle. That's exactly right. I hope you like puzzles.
I wanted to finish this one on time to put in the show, but I wasn't able to finish it. I finished it a day or two after I got back from.
Man, that should have gone in.
So cool.
Trade you and trade. This is
It's a bull playing on the ball. That's physically impossible.
Como que corre?
Now, because you see like the first guys there and
So, as I was searching for what I wanted to, the kind of work I wanted to do, I went through different phases. My initial phase was creating images of mythological creatures or gods from ancient cultures, but integrating them into modern problems. So I had a Medusa taking a selfie, and then her face was the reaction of, oh, I just messed up. I just saw myself on the phone. What's going to happen to Medusa?
Oh,
She's gonna turn to stone for seeing herself on the phone, right? And then from there, okay, so let me think. I thought of a god of destruction. How would a god of destruction from India be nowadays? I think I went to a very not too political correct way. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm realizing it right now as I'm speaking about it. I'm like, oh wait, I think I had that Krishna, that god of destruction become customer service on the phone. And
it's like a Krishna.
I think it's Krishna.
Right, I think it's a multiple arm. I'm not very up to date with my mythologies.
I think it's Krishna.
I think it's Krishna.
And I used one of my friends that I think we used to make fun because he's very bossy. And his quote is, I'm not bossy, I am the boss. And that's why it's right here, the poster. I rule. This is a lithograph. It's made on stone.
on stone.
Mhm.
Carved it into stone. Maybe?
Well, the stone is flat. It's limestone.
You're talking about lithography.
Lithography.
Glass frames, right?
When I was doing my long-winded, overly extended lecture on the history of printmaking, I also talked about the different processes. And I very, very quickly touched on what is lithography. Remember, lithograph means stone writing or stone drawing. So, you're familiar with it a little
Nice.
bit, if they were paying attention. Okay.
So it took me a minute to come back full circle. My professor told me, you're trying way too hard. Like, you have to explain to people what you're trying to do. It's not good because it's not natural. It's not flow. It doesn't flow because you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard. Do something that flows with you, that resembles who you are. And one day I was being homesick. I called my parents. Like, I wish I was in Ojinaga, and then I started describing the back in the day when we used to raise goats and cows and pigs, and that's when it clicked. You know what? That's who I am. I'm a ranch boy living in the deep south.
Where were you born? Where's your name? Where were you born?
I was born in Ojinaga, Chihuahua.
Oh, you're from
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahueño. Chihuahuense.
I'm sorry, yes, that's correct. Chihuahuense.
So I took my work. Sometimes I just try different approaches, and at times I censor myself because I don't want to. Maybe this is too much. Maybe this is too much, especially showing in Alabama, showing work out there, talking about Mexican issues, border issues, in a deep southern state. Am I safe to talk about these things? I was pleasantly surprised that I was, but I'm still nervous to show some of my work. And this is one of my works that I decided not to show. And it's a cow milking herself. Some people didn't.
How would people interpret that, Ramon? How do you think? How do you think people would interpret that image?
I had some people reacting, like
Uh-huh.
lots of eyebrows raised when I put it up.
It's, yeah.
Because it's really. When I was doing it, I was remembering one of our cows that would drink her own milk.
Oh, wow.
She would distort herself to be able to reach her udder. And that's what I was thinking. Like, okay, well, that represents women, liberation, femininity. But some people don't realize that there's a difference between a cow and a bull.
Oh, okay.
And you know where is this going?
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, this is, I'm not going to show this. I'm just going to put it in my portfolio and show something else. Because how I was thinking is not working for others. Because other people had a different interpretation of my work. So I'm like, nope.
We don't have so whenever, for example, if that piece were to be presented, framed, and exhibited somewhere, and you're not there, and so what other people, that's the subjectivity of it. So other people might read something else because they don't have the benefit of you standing next to it to explain. And
Right.
That's what a lot of, as artists, we have to consider often, is how other people are going to interpret it. And whether or not it matters to the artist how people interpret it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How much are you willing to push the boundaries of conform?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to conform to how the majority feels? Are you wanting to push their limits of conformity? Want to make people feel uncomfortable? Or
Yeah.
what is your intention?
Do you want to be confrontational?
Do you want to confront?
Maybe purposefully, maybe you want to be thought-provoking. Maybe it matters to you how people might take it, right?
I think in my case, this work, I felt like, okay, I'm not coming from a feminine movement, the feminism. I think I was stepping into a conversation that didn't belong to me. And also, it didn't go along with the other prints where I was talking about the border. Does that make sense? To me, I was trying to be playful,
Yeah.
but it just went. It A very weird turn.
The concept of self-nourishment, that does sound kind of, I've never considered that. So now that I saw that, it kind of, it's not, I didn't see the confusion with the possible sexuality of the animal nourishing itself. I saw it as a self-nourishing itself. That's very, something I never considered. So it's thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm. So these are things that, as an artist, you have to kind of, like, where do I want to take the viewer? Do you want to make them think? Do we want them to feel like your art is soothing? You want your art to be confrontational? Do you want to leave a message of hope or despair? You have that power as an artist, especially now. Like, what do you want to? What part of the conversation do you want to be? Or how does your art matter in today's society? Or does it matter? I guess it's up to us, right, to decide how much value we put in what we're doing. I think art has always been part of a broad social conversation since the moment men started painting in caves. Like writing down what they did on a daily basis, hunting, what kind of animals they hunted, or what kind of spirits they believed in. And now, if you fast forward to now, what do? We sometimes, or most of the time, we are documenting things that we do with photographs and sharing them on social media, right? We're still cavemen. We're still doing that. We're still documenting what we do on a daily basis with more gadgets. So that's what I have. Any questions?
Well, the difference between an image that is being shared, expressed on a cable, well, we don't know what they exactly meant, but nowadays, with the ease of photography, with the camera phone, it's instantaneous sharing. It's kind of almost to the point of overwhelming. It's overwhelming sometimes, oversaturating.
Oversaturation
That's
of
the word.
information.
It can be, right? Diego?
And because of that, our memories are instantaneous too. Something might have happened 2 days ago, and because of all this overstimulation that we have,
Yeah.
oh, that happened like 2 years ago, we think. Or at least that's my perception of things. Like, something viral goes on today, and by tomorrow something else goes viral, and poof.
It's sharing at the same time somewhat overwhelming. It can be. Well, from my perspective, because I'm from a generation that didn't have this immediacy of sharing. So from my perspective, as an older person, I've seen the changes of social behavior. And it's quite a bit. That's all I can say.
I think my generation is the one that's stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
I got to see a little bit of the traditional way of socializing, and my generation started with, what was a good social, MySpace, Metroflog. You remember Metroflog?
No.
Well, that's what the emo culture was popular, the 2005/2009 era. That's my generation.
I'm writing a letter, putting a stamp on it and sending it to somebody.
Metroflog was mainly used in Mexico, and people would write using numbers mixed with letters. So it's like algo un poquito naquito. Naco. Anyway, do you want to do your piece? Try it out before. Let's just see.
Oh, yeah.
Take some ink from here. And let's use this clean one. Let's see how we do.
And so it's just like that.
I forget how humid it is here. This hasn't dried yet.
No,
It's amazing.
it's great because it acts like and feels like oil-based ink. Yes, it does.
It's crazy.
But you can wash up, you don't need kerosene. You can wash it with soap and water.
Uh-huh.
Calico is the best of both possible worlds. The best.
Wow.
The only thing is, if you, see, I gave them, you do an amazing technique of applying color with printing. I give my students the option of hand coloring with watercolor. Now, I give them that option, so they print it in black ink, and then, but if it's this ink, it means that you have to let it cure, because if you apply water to it, it will run. That's the only consideration with this ink. So, you guys need?
Yeah. I want this.
I asked them if they want to try hand color printing with multiple blocks. That's an option. It's an option. I think that a lot of us, some of us might want to consider it. But I think the more, all things considered, because of the number of students I have, the more practical option is to print them in black ink, let them cure for a couple of weeks, and then they can hand color them with watercolor.
Wow.
Yeah. That way they don't have to worry about the black ink running if it gets wet again, because that's what happens with this ink.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what I mean, like the environment can affect how you work. West Texas, by this time, the tartan would have been dry. It blows my mind.
Yeah. A ver qué pasa. Oh, the paper is right here. So slightly, I'll take it. I'm a clean hands guy, okay? Clean hands guy. All right, let's see where this guy.
This is amazing. What kind of ink is that? Calico Safe Wash. I use that ink for my printmaking one.
Ready? Yeah. What ink do you use?
I use well, we used to have Daniel Smith, but
That was, not
anymore. I miss that ink.
I miss it. I miss the watercolor. Well, I think they still make the watercolor. But I have a collection. I actually don't want to use it. I want to just keep it for posterity. I don't want to get. I still have relief ink by Daniel Smith. Yeah, the embossing. That's a good sign. Then.
Carol had a stash of Daniel Smith ink
Yeah.
in the closet, but they're rock solid.
Oh, really?
You try it out.
They dried? There you go. What do you think? Looks cool.
We just needed more cleaning, wiping off.
Like to see. You need to work some more. Don't worry, you'll get it if you work some more. Okay, so,
All right.
thank you, thank you. Any more questions for Mr. Deanda? Any questions?
How long have you been doing prints?
How long have I been doing print?
Yeah.
I started 2010. Stopped doing it for about 4 years because I started teaching at elementary level for 4 years. And one day, I had an epiphany. I had to teach pre-K art for 55 minutes. You know how hard it is to keep a group of 32 pre-K students with short attention spans in an art room for 55 minutes? 55 minutes with that kind of group is like 3 weeks. So I had the kids sitting down, we did the activity. I guess I have them jumping up and down. I was showing them how to sit on a stool because we had stools, not chairs, how to use pencils. Everybody was starting to draw. And then the homeroom teacher gets into my room, pretend this is a 4-year-old kid. She does this, drops him off, and good luck. Does this, doesn't even turn back. So the kid touches the ground. And when they say they touched the ground running, that kid was running before he touched the ground. He started running around the classroom, punching kids, throwing glue. And within 10 seconds, all my classroom management skills were thrown in the trash. Kids were crying, kids were laughing, kids were fighting. The kid was running around the classroom. So I was running to catch him. And I look out the door and I see the counselor coming. And in my head, I thought, help is coming. Aid is coming. And then at a moment, we looked at each other. We locked stares. He saw in my eyes despair. But the jerk just smiled at me. I kept going. And that moment was the moment when I realized I can't do this anymore. This is it. And this was at 10:30 a.m. on the first day of school. So at noon that same day, I reached out to all my former professors, people that I knew about grad school. I'm interested in grad school. Do you have any recommendations of where I should apply? And one of them answered, you know what? We're starting a new grad program. You should apply. We can give you a free ride. Wink, wink. It's the same guy that sold me the... Fast forward to April, I get an acceptance letter for grad school. I accept. 3 days later, that kid disappears. No longer comes to school. But the funny thing is that it was not only one. By Friday that same week, I was starting to think, you know what? I can do this. This is good. This is good. I was being dramatic the first day of school. I was having a bad day. All good. So 10 a.m., comes. Here comes my pre-K group. And the last kid on the line was that same kid. I told the teacher, you know what? I had him on Monday. I don't need to see him twice a week. And then she starts laughing at me. Oh boy, if you only knew what. Deep inside me, I knew what the answer was coming. Like, you had the wrong one on Monday. What do you mean I had the wrong one? Ha! I had his twin brother on Monday. They switched. Okay, I was like, what? There's two of them? Yeah, and they're the same. They're the same exact. Oh. That's not it. The following week, their older brother shows up, kindergarten, and then an older sister in first grade. So I like, okay, that's a sign. That's the sign. So 3 days later, in April, when I accept the acceptance letter, they disappear. They no longer come to school for the rest of the school year. And I'm like, is this a joke? When you hear their names, it even makes it more magical and ironic. The eldest was called Angela. No, Angel. The one in kindergarten was called Gabriel. The next one was called Nathaniel. And the youngest one was called Emmanuel. All biblical names, basically. So I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. Thus, this is why I'm here. Thanks to those little angels. And after that, when I went back to grad school in 2016, I went back to printmaking. So that answers your whole question.
Who's answering your question?
So I just answered your question. So I fully started doing printmaking 2016. That's a long answer for that question.
That's a good answer.
Any other questions? What's that?
Es todo entonces.
¿Mande? ¿Es todo? It's, what time is it?
It's only 12:25.
12:25?
So thank you, Ramon Deanda.
No, thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you
I hope
very
you
much.
guys learned something.